Hey, good morning, and how are you guys doing today? I hope amazing. So we're back. We're in revisions on Echoes of the Cosmic Veil. This is pretty much the last revision. Well, this is the last revision before other people are going through it and editing as well. And so we're all the way to chapter 16 already. That's a pretty good sign that things are going along well. Hope you guys are having a great morning. I'm going to go ahead and get chat up real quick, and then we're going to get right into writing. I don't actually feel that discombobulated this morning, even though I am running on literally very little sleep. I think we're doing pretty good. I do have coffee. I hope you do as well. Let's click the little button, get into writing. Okay. So, if you have not been here for the following mornings, a lot of this is going to make no freaking sense. Honestly, also, obviously, we got to figure out what the heck we're doing with this chapter because it's only 716 words. Do I really have a chapter that short? Maybe. I don't really know. Hold on one second. Just want to make sure I have chat actually up. Okay, and I do. Okay, so let's look over this. Sarah sat with Zach's body laid out before her, tears running down her face as she tried again and again to search healing energies into him. Do we want to reword that? I'm going to read through this and we're going to see if we're going to change this up, adding anything to it, etc. And we'll figure it out, right? Okay. As nothing happened, a look of hatred slowly sat in. Then she looked right at me, saying, Sam, we did this. Sam, we did this. Okay, Sam. Comma, I'm pretty sure. We did this. And then let's period that. Sam, we did this. You got us into this. Okay. Okay, so we're going to change this to make it much more accusatory. Okay. Okay. I think we made it a lot crueler. Let's see. See, every time I think I have chat up, something happens and makes me less convinced that I actually successfully got chat up. Good morning, by the way. Okay, ready? Sarah sat with Zach's body laid out before her, tears running down her face. Wait, Avel. Is it just like that? Is that the right Avel? Avel, right there. To know Avel. Okay. Sarah sat with Zach's body laid out before her, tears running down her face as she tried again and again to surge healing energies into him, to no avail. Let's just. As time passed, a look of hatred slowly sat in. Then she looked right at me, saying, Sam, we did this. Zach and I wanted each other. Zach and I just wanted each other. Then you came with your promises of wealth, and I was a fool. I believed you, and convinced Zach it would be what was best for us. Now he's dead. Best. Okay, let's fix that. I don't like something else back here too, just so we know. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to just figure out what the heck to say here. Let me get some more coffee in me. That'll fix the situation. As we sat, gathered our breath, and composing ourselves, I looked over to see Sarah. I think we can. Sarah sat with Zach's body laid out before her, tears running down her face, as she tried again and again. To revive Zach Okay. I might have it fixed. I might not. Okay, as we sat, gathering our breath and composing ourselves, I looked over to see Sarah. Sarah sat with Zach's body laid out before her, tears running down her face, as she tried again and again to revive Zach. Okay, now I really do think I have it fixed, just for the record. As so we sat gathering our breath and composing ourselves, I looked over to see Sarah. Sarah sat with Zach's body laid out before her, tears running down her face, as she tried again and again to revive Zach. Despite her desperate attempts to surge desperate attempts surging. Okay, let me double check. Okay. Despite her desperate attempts surging killing energies into him, Zach was dead. As time passed, a look of hatred slowly sat in. Then she looked right at me, saying, Sam, we did this. Zach and I wanted each other. Zach and I. Okay. Let's change this. The only thing okay. The only thing Zach and I wanted was each other. Then you came with your promises of wealth, and I was a fool. I believed you and convinced Zach it would be what was best for our future. Now he's dead. Then she simply looked away and sat whimpering, while she rocked back and forth, brushing her hand. Wait, brushing her hands or hand? Brushing her hand through Zach's bloody hair. I feel you only brush a single hand. I don't really know. I mean, like, I'm trying to think about that, and I'm honestly not sure what to say. Let's look over this, guys. I bloody Zach's bloody. Brushing her hand through Zach's. You know what? Running her fingers. My God, I suck at spelling fingers. Why? That's not fingers either. Hold on one second, guys. Google frickin' to the rescue, right? Human fingers. What am I doing here? Why am I always trying to? Running her fingers through Zach's bloodied hair. I think we got that. Then she simply looked away and sat whimpering while she rocked back and forth, running her fingers through Zach's bloodied hair. That totally does work. Akio walked over to me saying, "Look, Sam, things have gone bad, but no one could have seen what happened coming." I should have seen it coming, though. I knew Eric had used security droids to, you know what, let's call them robots. Do we want to call them robots or droids? I knew Eric had used security robots to protect himself from something. On board. Brennan and Toby seemed to be trying to keep it together and console Sarah. Okay. Let's just leave Sarah actually on her own. Okay, Brandon and Toby seemed to be trying to keep it together and get a full grasp of what had happened to our friend. The only people that seemed unfazed were Mia and Oren, likely because of their experiences with loss during their service. Deep down, I would have never thought it would have gone so bad so quickly. I looked around, worrying about the trolls. There was no sign of them. Aboard. There was no sign of them aboard the Prison Hulk. The Prison Hulk's systems were still shut off from when Eric had shut them down before leaving the ship. Okay. Okay, the Prison Hulk systems were still shut off from when Eric had shut them down before leaving the ship. Wanting to get my mind off what had occurred, I thought back to what I'd seen while in Eric's memory files. The control room was just down a few corridors from here, through one of the crew's living quarter areas. Through one of the corridors. Through one of the crew's living quarter areas. Quarter. Must see if this fixes it. The control room was just down a few corridors from here. I'm just trying to think of how I want to change this. I do want to change this. Okay, the control room was just down a few corridors from here. Let me just think. Dun, dun, dun. The control room was just okay. I think I do have it fixed now. The control room was just down the corridor and through one of the ship crews. Through one of the crew's living quarters sections of the ship. Let me read back through that. The control room was just down the corridor and through one of the crew's living quarters sections. I don't believe we need of the ship. One, two. Accio, it's this way. I need to get the systems back online, I explained. Accio agreed as he motioned Bruno, Kyoto, Mia, and Salvador to come, saying, "Your friends will be fine here. They should take care of Sarah." Okay, boom. My god, my bossy phone. I don't even know what. Oh. Officially, I don't know. Something's going on my phone. A message. Thought it was the stock market for a second, but it's Saturdays. And too early for that. Okay. I looked around. Okay, boom, we're all the way down to here. As we moved down the corridor or into the living quarters, bodies of the crew became more and more common. Some looked as if they had been frantically trying to save themselves. Some seemed to have just sat where they were until they perished from Eric shutting off the life support. Shutting off life support or the life support. Eric shutting off life support. Eric shutting off the life support. At the security door, we became more serious, especially not knowing if anything could be on the other side. I directly linked into the system as the others drew their weapons, readied at the door. Aimed and weapons aimed and readied at the door. I directly linked into the system Okay. Let me go back up here because honestly, I don't believe I covered something. I explained. Oh, because we need to get to the control room to get the systems back up online. That makes more sense. I was like, I don't understand what the heck. Why are we doing that? But got it. 100%. I understand. Sometimes I don't know where we're going with what I did. And I'm the one that did it, so not knowing where I was going, kind of questionable sometimes. As we moved down the corridor into the living quarters, bodies of the crew became more and more common. Some looked as if they had been frantically trying to save themselves as they expired. Some seemed to have just sat where they were until they perished. Until they perished from Eric shutting off the life support. At the security door, we became more serious, especially not knowing if anything could be on the other side. Is not other side not a single word? No, it's not. What am I thinking? I directly linked into the system as the others drew their weapons and took aim at the doorway. It took only seconds to override the lockout and get the door open. Finally, we were at the control room, and I would be able to get the system back online. And I would be able to get the system back online. It's not great, but it does say what we want it to. We entered cautiously, not knowing what could be waiting for us. It seemed Eric had killed the two men at the. Oh, okay. Okay, let me see what happens here. Let's find out if this actually works. We entered cautiously, not knowing what could be waiting for us. The bodies of two men still at the station where Eric had left them. It seemed Eric had killed the two men at the control station before hacking into the system to shut everything down and kill the rest of the crew. I sat at the control station and linked into it. I had partial memory of the system from Eric's memories. Okay. I sat down at the control stations and linked into it. I had partial memory of the systems from Eric's memories. We're going to say recollection. Recollection or recollection? I had partial recollection of the system. Okay, I had partial recollection of the systems from Eric's memories. So I had an. Mm, I had partial recollection of the systems from Eric's memories. Making navigating the ship's systems have an instinctual feel to finding my way around. Okay. I had partial recollection of the systems from Eric's memories, making navigating the ship's systems have an instinctual feel to it. Something was strange about the system. It was as if there was an invisible doorman opening the way for me. I turned back on the power to all of the normal systems, including lights, doors, and life support. Then I worked to verify the location of Amelia Kern's stasis chamber. It was exactly where I had remembered it from Eric's memories. I looked through the other ship's systems one by one, restoring flight controls and pulling all of the navigation files. Then decided to look into the status of the stasis pods. All of them were shut down, except for Amelia's. Hold on one second. It seemed Eric had not only killed the entire crew, but all of the prisoners except one. But why? We know why, actually, guys. I knew Eric had visited her many times from the memories on the AI, but most of the details had been erased, leaving. Okay, most of the details had been erased. That giant gap left me little to go on. I tried pulling Amelia's prison files, but it too had been erased. I then checked through the ship's security systems, making sure we would not have any more surprises as we made our way to the prison holding section of the ship. Okay, thankfully it appeared to be clear. I disconnected from the system and told Akio, "It's this way. It looks like we're alone." Akio smiled. Thank God something is going right finally. We made our way down the corridor, walking past the occasional cluster of crew members' bodies, finally making it to the stasis chambers. We soon were standing before Amelia Khan, still imprisoned. Mm. I don't know if I like how that chapter finishes out, really. Oh, I could combine these two chapters, guys. This is only 781 words, too. Guys, what the F? I'm going to end up having to combine these two chapters. Hold on, let me get up here. We got 600 words on this chapter. Okay, I'm going to have to decide what to do on this. There's a chance that we leave three small chapters in here, honestly. Everything else is massive and twice that size in massive chapters. Three small chapters isn't going to kill us in this. I'm going to leave three small chapters in here. There's a chance I add detail or some crap like that to it. But, let's call it good right now. I mean, if I do change that, guys, it will be once we get all the way through, we'll make an executive decision, and then we'll be like, hey, I decided to. And then, but it'll just change the structure a little bit. At this point, I'm pseudo okay with that. That's now 800 words. Likely, when we get to this next chapter, we're going to expand it a little bit. It'll end up a little bit over 800 words. And this one, I'm fine with it. I had this ending. I'm not a million% sure. So tomorrow morning, there's a chance we go over this last paragraph before getting into 17. I'm just gonna be honest with that. Outside of that, I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I do want to thank you for waking up in the morning, having coffee with me, and hanging out as we work on this. Stay epic and peace and very best wishes.